Hi, I'm Lee King with Louisiana Football TV Magazine. We have a great show tonight, and I'm very honored we have here as a guest, not on TV, but Dot Cannon, and wife of Billy Cannon Sr. We also have a great show about Billy Cannon Jr., why he should be in the Louisiana Hall of Fame. We're going to have a lot of pictures of Junior, and we're going to talk about him. We've got a lot of people on the show that are connected to Broadmoor High School, Rusty Price, a legend, and also Bobby Olah. And also, look, we got a special family friend that played against him at Terra High School, and we want to talk to him as well. We're going to mention who that is later in the show. We also have a Nick Saban video talking about Junior, recruiting him when he was at Ohio State back in 1979, 1980. We'll be back in just a moment.
Oh. The Wright Group has been dedicated to enriching lives for over 100 years. With its roots in Louisiana, it branches across the U.S. and around the world. The Wright Group is a key supplier and contributor to the functional food, sports nutrition, supplement, and health and fitness markets, supplying customized nutritional blends, vitamin and mineral premixes, and micro-encapsulated ingredients, leading the way in customer service and innovation, fueling the way we live. The Wright Team, the Wright Group.
When I tore my ACL, I didn't think I'd ever be able to play soccer again. My doctor told me how important physical therapy would be, so I chose Peak. I'm glad I did. Now I'm stronger, faster, better than ever. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
I'll leave for a little while. And all you other letters think you can take over my town. Look at you. No issues even involved. If the people want the money they deserve for their accident,
the E-guarantee.
And as for you other letters, it's time you were erased.
Exercising is my life, so when I had to stop because of my foot and ankle pain, I was absolutely devastated. I chose Peak, and they taught me how to relieve the pain. They really do bring out the athlete in everyone. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Welcome back, Lee King, Louisiana Football TV Magazine. Before I introduce my first guest, Rusty Price is a coach I've admired from outside the box, as you can say. I've talked to him a lot over the years with our magazine, and he's just a coach, old school, that I've always admired, again, respected, because great developer of young men, and necessarily had the greatest, talent and didn't have a lot of numbers, but he made and developed, and his guys played hard, and they had great years through the 90s and up until about 2017, huh, Coach Price? Now you're the athletic director at Broadmoor High School.
Athletic director only.
Been there, seen it all.
45 years.
45 years, one high school. That's impressive. That's very impressive. And I was asking you off the air, what is it? What's so magical? I love high school football. I love a chance to go and you get to see the band play, and the band does their job. They practice all week. You got track guys playing football. You got basketball guys playing football. You get to intermingle with the officials when you're not arguing with them before the game. The fans come. It's a special place.
It's home to me. The thing about Broadmoor that brings back so much is the memories that are made. Not just, for me, but for kids. When I go back and talk to the players of the past, everybody remembers things a little bit different than what I might remember it from their perspective. Yeah. But that was one of the things we've always tried to do, is let's work on making a memory. And there are plenty of them out there. And that's the best part about high school, is that, different levels of individuals, they all make a memory.
And I want to mention this because I know that you'll never say it, very modest, but a decorated war veteran, a Purple Heart veteran from the war, and thank you for your service. I really want people to know that about you, because it's not something they know you as Coach Price. You know, before that, you were a heck of an athlete, I heard, at Southeastern, too.
I participated.
You're being very modest. They said you were a very good college. Talk about your college days at Southeastern.
I was fortunate enough I played football for the Marine Corps, and Ken Keneally was the head football coach there when we played Southeastern Quantico. And he offered me the opportunity to go to Southeastern, play football with the GI Bill. And I went there originally, and during spring, I re-injured my knee, and the trainer there, Doc Morgan, talked me into rehabbing. And the track coach at that time came to me and asked me if I'd go help the discus thrower out. And Larry Crow was the track coach, and pretty soon I got to where I was throwing it pretty good back to the discus thrower as far as he was throwing it out. And then he offered me a scholarship if I would not go back out for football. And here I was, young, married, got a full scholarship and a GI Bill. I was sitting high.
You were happy.
I was.
That's what young kids need to hear today, that, you know, scholarship and all that means something to, still means something
It paid
today.
the bills.
Yeah.
And we were lucky that we had a good track coach surrounded by good athletes, and we won the national championship. And I was lucky enough to win nationals in the hammer and go and get second in the discus and set school record, and then selected to the Hall of Fame at Southeastern.
Now, you didn't know that a friend of yours would be here today.
No, I didn't.
To your left, please introduce your buddy here.
That's an old friend of mine who I give a lot of credit to directing my future, Bobby Olah.
Bobby, thanks for joining us.
I did my student teaching under Bobby and learned a lot.
Bobby, you came all the way from Albany today. You're from that area. You're in the Hall of Fame in 218. Congratulations, you. And you know, getting in the Hall of Fame is hard, but we want to talk about Billy Cannon Jr. For football and track, and I'm going to ask Rusty and Jeff when he comes on the show. As a referee, I mean, you did 35 years as a referee. You did college basketball, 35 years, 20 years of high school basketball. You did a lot of Sweet 16s. What's it like? We were talking about, Rusty was talking about high school athletics. I mean, it meant a lot to you too before you even got into college refereeing.
Yeah, it is. High school refereeing and high school sports was everything to me. I played basketball and baseball at Southeastern, and I played.
Is it true as a fifth grader you were on the JV team in basketball?
Yes.
A fifth grader?
Not because of my ability. I lived next door to the gym, and my older brother played.
Okay.
And so I got to go with him.
That's pretty young, Coach.
And we lived in a rural area, gravel roads, and when the weather was bad, a lot of the older players couldn't get back for the games. And I'd be sitting there wishing, hoping they didn't show up, and I'd get to play. So I developed a tremendous passion for the game of basketball, and I lived next door to the gym and couldn't wait for school to get out to go in the gym and play 1-on-1 and 2-on-2, because basketball is the greatest sport that it is, because you can have fun playing 1-on-1, 2-on-2, playing horse. And that went up through high school, and then we had great teams at Albany, and we started school July 6th, and we were playing in the Donaldsonville Fair at the end of August, so we played 75 games every year.
Because I saw you did 300 games a year as a referee.
Right.
That's a lot. Almost as much as Rusty working.
Well,
What'd you think of the
I used to beat him 1-on-1 when I was there too.
Come on. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have more with Rusty Price and also Bobby and We'll be right back in just a moment.
Honey, what's wrong with the disposer?
What disposer?
Clogged drain. Call Roto-Rooter, America's neighborhood drain expert.
When I tore my ACL, I didn't think I'd ever be able to play soccer again. My doctor told me how important physical therapy would be, so I chose Peak. I'm glad I did. Now I'm stronger, faster, better than ever. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The Wright Group has been dedicated to enriching lives for over 100 years. With its roots in Louisiana, it branches across the U.S. and around the world. The Wright Group is a key supplier and contributor to the functional food, sports nutrition, supplement, and health and fitness markets, supplying customized nutritional blends, vitamin and mineral premixes, and micro-encapsulated ingredients, leading the way in customer service and innovation, fueling the way we live. The Wright team, the Wright Group.
Exercising is my life, so when I had to stop because of my foot and ankle pain, I was absolutely devastated. I chose Peak and they taught me how to relieve the pain. They really do bring out the athlete in everyone. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Welcome back, Lieber King, Louisiana Football Magazine, and also want to mention Rusty Price can really admire this, but I've been to 42 high school games this year over Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, 2 a night, and I enjoy every one of them. People say you're crazy, but I just love going to watch the kids play and looking at the talent coming up. And at the end of the year, my goal is to hit about 100 games this year, Rusty, and it's nothing like it. Old school. I know you would admire that.
Oh yeah, it takes time. You got to put the time in, but if you don't love it, you got to love it.
Got to love it. And talk about Billy Cannon Jr., your time there. I know the late Bob Carter was there with you. And
I was assistant coach under Bob, and Billy was there. This is in the late 70s. It was a unique opportunity to see somebody that could do it all. There was nothing. I think he could have played lineman, quarterback, running back. It didn't matter. He could do it all, and probably the best thing that he did was bring other people with him. As good as he was, he made the guy next to him even better, just because of his presence. They just gave them confidence, knowing that, he was next to him.
what do you think of him being in the Hall of Fame, not in yet? I mean, this is a legend from Baton Rouge.
I'll tell you, if you go by athletic ability alone, there's been a lot of great athletes that have gone through Baton Rouge and stuff, but I don't think there's been any that have had the impact that he could have had in any sport, whether it be baseball, basketball, football. I mean, he could, and even during the time when we had the teacher strike back in the '79, where they dropped baseball while the teachers were on strike, he came and ran in track meet and won the 200, was on the 800 relay team.
Same day.
Same time, and just, no practice, no nothing, a natural athlete that could do it all.
Yeah, I mean, played quarterback, running back, safety, and even kicked a few times.
I think, like I said, he could have played anything in baseball.
Two-time All-State in baseball and football and track, and the New York Yankees drafted him in the 3rd round, George Steinbrenner. Definitely a first-rounder because there was the Dallas Cowboys and the NFL, and went to A&M and had a great career there. Started off as a wide receiver. Huh?
I believe Billy played 4 different positions there.
Went to
Wide receiver,
safety,
defensive back, outside linebacker, then the inside linebacker. And if it wouldn't be for the injury there's no telling where it would have taken him.
Yeah, the rookie season, first-round draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys, a 25th pick that year, and that rookie season, going midway almost the season, that was the last of the football career. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, when I was in high school, you know, I was 9 years old in '79. I'm give away my age, but my brother-in-law was a big football person, and he's Jay Payne. He played at Central High. And the first name I heard about at the age of 9, I mean, the first recruit name, I didn't even look at a recruit magazine, and I'm in the recruiting business, was Billy Cannon Jr. Because he was like, everybody at Central High School feared him. Like, we got to go against this guy. You know, it was just the name in Baton Rouge that everybody knew. And Bobby, you friends with his dad, Billy Cannon Sr., and what do you think of Junior? And you're an 18 inductee in the Hall of Fame.
Billy Sr. was my orthodontist for my 2 kids, and he wanted me to come see Billy Jr. play, and they were playing a Struma. And I got there, and I had my wife and kids with me, and they stayed down. We were looking to sit with Billy, but it was overflow crowd, and I went up in the press box with Rusty. As soon as I got up there, Billy Cannon Jr. made an 89-yard touchdown run on a punt return. So all I know about him was I saw him play baseball, and he was you said 6'4" the other day, and I've heard that he's 6'5" or 6. Now, I don't know. He's very imposing 6'4".
We're going to let Jeff talk about him when he comes on in the show, too.
He was a shortstop in baseball, and I don't know if Steinbrenner was there or not, but they played in Hammond, American Legion, and Billy invited me to come, and I watched him play, and I think he went 5 for 5. A Yankees big scout was there, but it might have been Steinbrenner, I don't know, but I sat with Billy and them that he was 5 for 5, and like I said, this scout in Hammond, he's told it 100 times that Billy was the fastest at first base of anybody he's ever timed to get to first base.
It's amazing. So. You know, Broadmoor and Rusty, he was there coaching a lot of these guys. Alan Stansberry just mentioned that he's a preacher in Las Vegas, right?
Las Vegas, yes.
I was wondering where Alan was. That's good. Tough place to.
We have bucks all over the place.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Keith Foster was a good quarterback for you.
Outstanding, yes.
Bucky Richardson was a very good player from there. Wally Hartley.
Went
to A&M.
A&M.
Offensive line.
Reginald Hayes.
We've
had some good athletes that have come through. Then some good coaches, too. A supporting cast is what I was always fortunate to have around me.
I got to know Broadmoor because when I was a little kid, my dad coached the Broadmoor Bucks Breck team. And we'd go out to the high school, and on the weekends, I was the smallest of the smallest group out there. If you can imagine the smallest 6-year-old trying to put a jersey on, it would fall off. I mean, I was tiny. My old man wouldn't even let me play the first 2 years. I was so tiny. But I met Wally and Bucky and those guys as they were young coming through. And I mean, the 70s was just, prior to that, was incredible. And what's your thoughts on Bob Carter?
I'll tell you, you know, a heck of an athlete in his day, too. It was one of the things that I was fortunate enough to learn from, being around people that had experience that he had. And when you go back and talk about old school, I mean, that is the old school with the Struma days and Baton Rouge High days and stuff. And he brought a lot of that with him to Broadmoor.
Bobby, you had mentioned that 3 legends came out of the same elementary school in downtown Baton Rouge.
3 consensus
All-Americans from LSU.
From LSU.
The same elementary school.
Same elementary school. I ask you, that's a good question.
George Bevan.
George Bevan.
Jimmy Taylor.
Jimmy Taylor.
Johnny Robinson.
Bob Pettit.
Bob Pettit.
Dufrock Elementary, Dufrock Ducks.
Been a great team to coach, huh, Coach? That's incredible. We're going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to come back more with Rusty and also Bobby, and then we've got Jeff Termini coming on the show, a friend of the Cannon family. We're going to talk about that. We're going to also have Saban's interview. Saban made an interview for the show talking about Billy Cannon Jr. and how he was recruiting him when he was at Ohio State as an assistant back in the day. We'll be right back.
Well, I've had back pain now and then, but it got so bad I couldn't even bend over. I didn't want to resort to pain pills, so I chose Peak, hoping they could relieve the pain. They got me active again. I even lost weight. I believe in better. I chose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The Wright Group has been dedicated to enriching lives for over 100 years. With its roots in Louisiana, it branches across the U.S. and around the world. The Wright Group is a key supplier and contributor to the functional food, sports nutrition, supplement, and health and fitness markets, supplying customized nutritional blends, vitamin and mineral premixes, and microencapsulated ingredients, leading the way in customer service and innovation, fueling the way we live. The Wright team, the Wright Group.
I spent years suffering from knee pain, so I decided to have replacement surgery. My doctor did a great job, and he allowed me to choose Peak for my PT. I should have done this a long time ago. I'm so glad I chose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
I'll leave for a little while, and all you other letters think you can take over my town. Look at you. None of you's even involved. If the people want the money they deserve for their accident,
The guarantee.
and as for you other letters, it's time you were erased.
Welcome back, Lieber King, Louisiana Football TV Magazine. I hope everybody in Louisiana is enjoying the show. It goes to Shreveport and Lake Charles and South and North Louisiana. We have a lot of parents that watch and legends and Hall of Famers like Bobby and like Rusty, Coach Price. And want to go ahead and mention too, Rusty, not just a football coach, a teacher. I mean, chemistry. You taught chemistry. That's not something every coach can.
Not chemistry. Environmental chemistry was my first year.
How many coaches can?
Well, I taught biology for 22 years.
That's not every high school football coach. That's
well,
yeah. What do you enjoy teaching the most?
It varies. I complained so much when they took me out of biology
So
because
you liked it.
I liked it, and but once you get into physical activity, which is my true love, weight training and stuff, that's where my heart really is.
You miss the weight training part of it. I know
definitely.
you're AD now. You're not.
Right.
You got to miss that.
The big thing is the relationship with the kids. That you don't really get that bond with certain kids and stuff that we have in the past, and that's the fellowship with the coaches. I mean, that's, I think, when people go back and talk about connections, it's the fellowship with both the coaches and the players that meant the most.
Rusty, how do you see the future of high school football? And it's changed a lot over the years, but what is your thoughts on the future of it and keeping it strong? And
oh, it's going to succeed. I mean, it's one of the lifebloods of high school. It enables kids that would not be part of education process to be part of it and give them a reason to be there. And we're fortunate at Broadmoor. We have a new principal that has come in, and he realizes the importance of athletics and academics blending together. And
that's good when you have a principal that loves sports, that understands and gets it.
Oh, that's definitely. And he's like a key player. He's a difference maker.
That's good. That's good to know. And Bobby, I wanted to mention, I was so happy for Johnny Robinson, and I never got the chance to meet Johnny, and I know that you're personal friends with Johnny, but getting inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame was way overdue. Canton, Ohio, and defensive back with over 60 career interceptions with the Kansas City Chiefs. What a great player. Heard stories over the years from many people, and Talk about the boys' home and what Johnny has done. He's dedicated his whole life to help kids, and also Billy Cannon Sr. helped a lot, and then a lot of former athletes.
Well, I didn't know what Johnny Robinson was doing, and I'm supposed to be pretty knowledgeable about coaches and sports. And Billy Cannon, Dr. Cannon's the one that got me involved in it, and just a fluke type thing. A buddy of mine owns a steakhouse in Hammond named Shorty Rogers, and he wanted Billy to come over, and everybody wanted to meet Billy Sr., and he said, about 25 guys, I'll treat them at my steakhouse. And Billy said, I'll come, and but why don't we sell tickets and make any money? I'll tell my life story, and we'll give the money to Johnny's boys' home. And I said, Johnny's got a boys' home? And that's how it got started. And a couple years later, because of Dr. Cannon, we raised right at $500,000 for
That's
Johnny's
amazing.
boys' home. Johnny had some real, after Kansas City, he went into the tennis business, and that didn't make it. And he wound up coaching at Northeast with John David Crow, and he had a tragedy in his family. He lost a boy tragically, and he turned to God and decided he wanted to have a boys' home, and he had one boy. Bought this old building, and then he had as many as 50. And he's unbelievable. He's the most modest, thankful athlete I've ever met.
Helped a lot of people.
Yes,
Yeah.
He's got about 30-some boys now. His son is kind of managing it, and it's unbelievable. Anybody want to see a program? A guy he's an ordained minister. Dr. Cannon has told me many times, he said, man, I love Johnny Robinson. Well, after I met him, I love him too. You know, he's just a lovable guy.
I'm so happy that he got into Canton, Ohio, and Rusty, long overdue, man. He great pro football player, and he was like the last guy on that team. Art Buchanan, he was the last guy to get in that needed to be in. One of the best DBs to play in the NFL. Any final thoughts, Rusty, about football? And you're sitting by a friend of yours who's an official, retired official, but anything to change? We had some officials on the show last week. They're going to start doing an instant replay in the state championship game. What do you think of that?
You know, technology has changed everything, the way we look at everything and the way we do everything. The old days where you used to have to trade film, and
now they email
now
it to
you
you.
just press a button and send it on the internet. The old school things, I think, you know, we didn't rely as much on technology to learn things. Of course, nowadays it's hard to, you can look up any drill online, you can look up any play or any technique, and there's really no excuse. If a young player wants to learn something, it's out there for him.
Yeah, now you go on a sideline in a game and you got a monitor on the sideline, a TV, and download the plays that just happen, and the kids are watching the mistakes on a monitor.
It's unbelievable that the changes that I've seen over these last 45 years.
Now, if those machines can help you win games.
It still takes the players.
I appreciate you being here, Rusty, and please stick around, and also Bobby, and we've got some, yeah.
I want to say one thing, Lee. Thank you for inviting me. Rusty Price is somewhat I idolize him, because I watched him handle those kids when he was teaching at my school, and the best student teacher I had in 20-some years of student teachers, 4 or 5 a year.
I'm honored, and I also want to mention before you leave that you were a really good basketball player at McNeese and you finished at Southeastern. You're pretty good college basketball
Well,
player.
getting back to Rusty, though, he's a self-made All-American at Southeastern. He threw the hammer and discus. I watched him put on about 30 or 40 pounds so he could win it. He was captain of the team. It's, you know, when you asked me and he told me Rusty was coming and we were going to talk about Billy Cannon Jr., believe me, if I have a vote, I will strictly vote Billy Cannon Jr. in the High School Hall of Fame.
Well, Natchitoches gets it too in Northwestern. So thank you for coming. Thank you, Rusty. And we'll be right back with Jeff Termini, a friend of the Billy Cannon, the family, the Cannon family. And going to enjoy talking about Junior a little more. We've got a video from Nick Saban coming up. You're watching Louisiana Football TV Magazine.
I'm injury lawyer E. Eric Gerard. There's a Superman comic where he leaves Earth and comes back only to find a bunch of other superheroes trying to fight evil but just not getting the job done. Well, I'm back. Now there's all these other lawyers on TV saying they can help you with your injury claim, but something's just not the same. There's only one Superman and there's only one E. E. Eric Gerard. eGuarantee.com. Get the E. Guarantee.
Hi, we are live with the PPTV network where one of the top athletes is about to make his important decision. We know his character and nothing will hold him back.
I'm glad to have my family and friends here for this choice. It's more than my career. It will affect the rest of my life. I choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The decision is in. Why choose Peak?
The reputation and their record of success is unmatched.
When it matters most, another patient chooses Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
The Wright Group has been dedicated to enriching lives for over 100 years. With its roots in Louisiana, it branches across the U.S. and around the world. The Wright Group is a key supplier and contributor to the functional food, sports nutrition, supplement, and health and fitness markets, supplying customized nutritional blends, vitamin and mineral premixes, and micro-encapsulated ingredients, leading the way in customer service and innovation, fueling the way we live. The Wright team, the Wright Group.
Thanks Superior Grill on Highland Road. The great family, they're Minden natives. Bob Kershaw played at Northwestern State. Also, there's a location on Government Street, Line Avenue in Shreveport, and St. Charles Avenue in the great city of New Orleans. I want to go ahead and introduce Jeff Termini. Jeff, thanks for joining us.
You're well. Glad to be here.
You are a true friend of the Cannon family and have been for a long time.
Grew up with them. We had coffee at each other's house growing up every 2 days, 3 days. I mean, just extended family, basically.
Miss Dot is here, Dot Cannon, wife of late Billy Cannon Sr. Thanks for her being here. And we're going to have a video, Jeff, before we start talking about, we got a bunch of pictures of Junior we're going to go through that you're familiar with, but I want to go ahead and get the Saban video up. We have a Saban video talking about when he was a young assistant at Ohio State recruiting Billy Cannon Jr. at Broadmoor. Check out this video made for the show by Nick Saban.
Well, I think anybody that has any background with LSU and LSU sports history knows Billy Cannon as probably the iconic figure of all time in LSU sports lore. You couldn't go anywhere in Louisiana and people not talk about or remember the punt return in 1959 that Billy Cannon made versus Ole Miss to beat Ole Miss, and that was a historical game when it came to, you know, national prominence. Everybody talks about his legendary size and speed. And there were all kind of stories about when he was in high school, how fast he ran, how big he was, and he certainly was probably the most dynamic player in LSU football history.
Coach, what did that Heisman Trophy, the only one LSU's ever had, what did that mean to the university and the program?
Well, I think, you know, it's historic in terms of the significance of having a university anywhere have a player named as the best player in the country. You know, that is an honor that I don't even think people sometimes can sort of register as to how great of accomplishment, you know, that really is. And it's great for the individual, but it's also something that every university and every football program takes great pride in, to know that they had the best player recognized as the best player in the country.
Coach, your relationship with Billy actually goes back to the recruitment of his son, back when I think you were at Ohio State. Can you talk a little bit about that recruitment, maybe anything you remember, in-home visit, any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I remember. I think it was, you know, like 1979 or something like that, and I was recruiting at Ohio State, and I had basically west of the Mississippi, so there were like 6 players in the whole western part of the United States that they gave me, and they said, these are the best players in the whole western half of the United States. You know, we want you to go see them, and we want you to go recruit them. And the first player that I went to see was Billy Cannon Jr., and had a tremendous reputation, not only as a football player, but as a great athlete, a great baseball player, size, speed guy that was phenomenal. And I remember the home visit. I was sort of awestruck, you know, meeting Billy Cannon for the first time, because I was a relatively young coach then, probably, you know, in my late 20s or whatever. And he was such an iconic figure from his LSU days as well as his NFL career that I don't think I did a very good job in the home visit, because my jaw was dropped most of the time. But I remember Billy Jr. being a great person, and because of the relationship that we developed during that recruiting, I always watched his career and thought he had a fantastic career at A&M, as well as, and I know he was injured when he became a pro player, but being a first-round pick of the Dallas Cowboys.
Coach, and finally, talk a little bit about 6'5", 220. This guy was maybe even a sub-4.4 type speed guy. Talk about that special and almost rare combination, and what that allowed him to be as a player.
Well, I think, you know, Billy Sr. was sort of that way, and I think that's why people tell so many stories about his accomplishments when he was at Estruma High School. And I remember Billy Jr. being at Broadmoor High School and actually having a punt return for 89 yards 20 years to the day after his dad had the historic punt return against Ole Miss. But I think, when I think of it, I think of two people who were very, very similar in terms of, you know, their ability, their great size, their great speed, and they were very instinctive athletically and great football players. So to be compared to his dad, I think is quite an honor for anyone relative to what his dad accomplished and what I'm sure he would have accomplished if he hadn't been injured as an NFL player.
Perfect. That's all we got.
Okay, that was Nick Saban talking about Billy Cannon Jr. That's interesting to see Nick talking about in his 20s, Jeff, recruiting as a young, new coach at Ohio State.
It's amazing. We're getting old.
Yeah. I was almost a baby then, but yeah. You know, and his memory's phenomenal, Nick's.
Mm-hmm.
But senior, you know, running a 9,600 meters, throwing the shot put 56 feet, and then having a son that was a multi-sport athlete
the same
too.
thing.
It's incredible. And the 89-yard run, like Nick said, against Estruma, his dad's school, same distance, 89 yards as the Halloween run, on Halloween.
Right.
It's incredible.
And it's also incredible, they were also two top-ranked schools in the state that year. They were both in probably the top 5.
A lot at stake
really.
in the game.
It was. Both of them were very much pressure players.
Your memories, Jeff, I mean, you went to Terra High School, and Terra was really good back in the day. I mean, really good. Had a lot of players go to LSU and a lot of other colleges, but any memories stick out to you with Terra and Broadmoor, the rivalry back then?
One specifically, and it's baseball. We were playing, and it was the last game of the season for us both, and the winner went to the state playoffs. like it was from the time we were 12. And we were ahead by a run, and Billy's up, and he hits one. I'm in left field. I took 2 steps, and it was past me and still going up. Out of the park. A couple years ago, we went to the Smoky Mountains. I brought him back a baseball. He said, "What's this?" I said, "That's the ball you hit against me. I found it in the Smokies."
You found it in the Smokies. That's a go. We're going to come back. We have more with Jeff Termini. We also got a little surprise. Some film on senior playing football against Catholic out of Struma. Compliments of Barrett Murphy. We'll be right back.
This throbbing neck pain was so bad it moved to my shoulders and was causing severe headaches. Then a friend suggested I choose Peak. 2 weeks later, the pain was completely gone. So glad I chose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Honey, what's wrong with the disposer?
What disposer? Clogged drain. Call Roto-Rooter, America's neighborhood drain expert.
The Wright Group has been dedicated to enriching lives for over 100 years. With its roots in Louisiana, it branches across the U.S. and around the world. The Wright Group is a key supplier and contributor to the functional food, sports nutrition, supplement, and health and fitness markets, supplying customized nutritional blends, vitamin and mineral premixes, and microencapsulated ingredients, leading the way in customer service and innovation, fueling the way we live. The Wright team, the Wright Group.
My shoulder pain got so bad I couldn't lift anything overhead. So I chose Peak Performance, and I can't believe how much better I am now. Peak really does get you back into the game of life. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Yes, I want to mention the Wright Group, one of our new sponsors, has been dedicated to enriching lives for over 100 years. With its roots in Louisiana, its branches across the U.S. and around the world. The Wright Group is a key supplier and contributor to the functional food, sports nutrition, supplement, and health and fitness markets, supplying customized nutritional blends, vitamin and mineral premixes, and micro-capsulated ingredients, leading the way in customer service and innovation, fueling the way we live. Be a part of it and join today the Wright Group at www.therightgroup.net. Great family company owned out of Crowley, Louisiana. They're globally. Thank you for being a sponsor. I want to get back to Jeff. And Jeff, we've got some pictures of most of these are of Billy Cannon Jr. We want to share with the public of some of them playing days, and we'll get those ready. And here's the Aggie baseball picture. I mean, people think of football.
You're right.
Here's a baseball.
He was an amazing baseball player. Matter of fact, while he was at A&M, he faced Roger Clemens at Texas.
Best.
So, he was up there, and he was such a clutch player.
Here's a picture with him in College Station. Here's another one. His young kid here coming up. Okay.
That was his wedding night. I remember that day. Came in just for a weekend, got married, and they went right back to A&M.
One of 5 daughters, right? 5.
Right.
So
he's got a basketball team.
There you go. Here's another baseball. People don't realize he was a great baseball player too.
He was making major league plays at 13. And
That's
when
amazing.
I say that, I'm telling you, he's playing shortstop, and guy makes a bad throw, and he reaches out with his right arm, catches the ball, slides his foot across the base, and throws the guy at first.
6'4", 6'5", over 200 in high school, running 4.4.
I forget the team they came down to
Picture
watch
of Broadmoor.
him, and his speed was just so amazing. They put him in center field, and you wouldn't have hit the ball in the outfield. He couldn't run it down.
Today's day, with the money involved, $100 million for the first pick, might not have been any football coming out of high school back. Kyler Murray got, what, $80 million and turned it down?
Probably wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
he had that bargaining chip. It was either go to college
Yeah.
or play, and they wanted him.
Similar to Colin Murray.
That was
You know-
Sherwood. That was 9th grade.
You know, back, we're in 2019. You just don't see a lot of young men 6'5" that run sub 4.4, 215, 220, playing quarterback and receiver and linebacker.
Everywhere he went, they seemed to put him where the play went. They wanted him involved in every play somehow.
Graduation, Broadmoor, you can just tell he's bigger than everybody else around him. Dallas Cowboys, this must be their illustrated magazine on the cover.
Yeah, that was a big day when he was drafted by Dallas.
25th pick of the first round. Tom Landry was still the head coach before Jerry Jones bought the franchise. This is
Well,
Texas
who wouldn't
A&M
want
line.
a 6'4", 240-pound guy that could run with any wide receiver that was out there?
A taller version of Clay Matthews, huh?
And he liked defense. He loved playing defense.
You know, Broadmoor in the history, I don't know if there's one school in Louisiana that had two better players go there than Bucky Richardson and Jr., Billy Cannon Jr. Here's a picture with Billy Cannon Sr.
Yeah, and Billy Cannon was still 200 pounds in. You see how much bigger Junior
Yeah.
was.
This is a picture with me and Senior back when I was about 20 in the middle there at an awards banquet. Senior popped in and said, "I'm here to check in on the recruiting." And I said, "I'm glad you showed up on that." But we used to do recruiting banquets at restaurants when it was legal to guys go out and commit. And that year, Damian James and Trev Falk, Brady James, was able to see Brady James. Congratulations, Brady James, on the LSU Hall of Fame, by the way, a great linebacker from West Monroe. Get back to talking about, you wanted to share a story about the pressure of being junior.
You just think about it. You're the son of the biggest name that ever came out of LSU. And a lot of people were disappointed when he went to A&M. They wanted, at that time we heard a lot of, we're going to bring number 20 out of retirement and he's going to be a running back for LSU and we're going to have it all over again. And, it didn't work out, but he liked defense. And he was a clutch player just like his dad. He never quit, never. Not in tiddlywinks when we were babies till, he got hurt. He never quit, and he still never quit anything.
Any other stories that stick out with football? You mentioned baseball with him, knocking a home run out to Tennessee, but anything with football?
Football, like I said, he was just always in every play. I mean, I talked earlier, he, punted, run down to the field, hit the guy that caught the ball, made him fumble, and then run it in for a touchdown by himself. Just one play, bam.
Jeff, what is the biggest thing is, A&M, great university, went to Broadmoor, the history with college, could have been pro baseball, could have been this and that, but I'm going to tell you, I'm just so honored that Miss Dot is here.
Yeah.
That made my life. I mean, I know a little TV shy, but I'm just honored that she's here today taking us in. Dot Cannon. We'll be right back in just a moment.
The Wright Group has been dedicated to enriching lives for over 100 years. With its roots in Louisiana, it branches across the U.S. and around the world. The Wright Group is a key supplier and contributor to the functional food, sports nutrition, supplement, and health and fitness markets, supplying customized nutritional blends, vitamin and mineral premixes, and micro-encapsulated ingredients, leading the way in customer service and innovation, fueling the way we live. The Wright team, the Wright Group.
When I tore my ACL, I didn't think I'd ever be able to play soccer again. My doctor told me how important physical therapy would be, so I chose Peak. I'm glad I did. Now I'm stronger, faster, better than ever. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
I'll leave for a little while, and all you other letters think you can take over my town? Look at you. None of you's even evolved. If the people want the money they deserve for their accident,
the E-guarantee.
And as for you other letters, it's time you were erased.
Exercising is my life, so when I had to stop because of my foot and ankle pain, I was absolutely devastated. I chose Peak and they taught me how to relieve the pain. They really do bring out the athlete in everyone. Choose Peak.
Choose Peak Performance Physical Therapy.
Welcome back to Louisiana Football TV Magazine. We've got a treat. Thanks to Barrett Murphy. Old Barrett Murphy, a great friend, found some old film of Billy Cannon Sr. to Struma against Catholic High in the 50s. Check out this footage. What you think of this, Jeff?
It's awesome. I actually can remember one night Dr. Cannon came to the house. We watched a high school game and we watched the entire LSU Ole Miss game in 1959. Never forget sitting there watching that whole game. And it was such a great, hard-fought game.
Now, this is against Catholic High School, which had Oscar Lofton. Barrett Murphy was on that team. Several college players, a lot of them at Struma that went on to college ball. But, you know, it's just good to see film like that. And I think it's just a shame we've lost some of that film from the 40s and 50s. You know, we had Wyatt Tittle on 5 years ago, and I was honored to have Wyatt call in from California. I would have loved to have shown some old Marshall High School, Texas film, because he was a great player in Marshall. And they have a kid on the team at LSU now named Chasen Hines. He's from Marshall High School. And Odell Beckham's dad went to Marshall High School. Just a little trivia for you. But continuing on talking about everything, but I want to mention Billy Cannon Sr. actually, when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life, I went in and talked to him. And Jeff, you would love this story. I was trying to get that job for life. You know, we all try and figure out in our early 20s. And Dr. Frank Pegues, a great friend of mine, one of my great friends, like a dad to me, he's, the late Frank Pegues had his chiropractor place right next to Billy's on Goodwood. And I went in and met him, and after a few times, he got me an interview with Louisiana Network. Billy Cannon did. And he said, you go on that interview, you knock him out. I didn't get the job, and I started my magazine.
Well, that's the way it works.
It was meant to be. And
he gave great advice. He always had time to listen to you, and he helped. You could fill this building with the people he helped. And he never asked, you know, or raised his hand, I'm this, I'm that. He would help. He was always the first one there to help paint, whatever.
Genuine person.
Just as humble as they come, both of them. You know, senior and junior. If you needed them, they were the first ones there.
Loved horses.
Oh, yeah. He loved those
horses.
race horses.
And remember going to the office, he would have these horse magazines too, and was kept up with all that stuff. Had his whole group of guys that were into the horse business.
Watched them horses till the day he died. Just loved it. Loved fooling with them.
Jeff, you know, Broadmoor and Terra, they need to bring some of this out maybe one day with honoring some of these old teams, huh?
I think so.
That'll come at some point.
They had some great athletes and some great rivalries during the time I was there, and it was fun, and it was different than it is now because we went out and met each other after the game, and we're all friends. You know, the guys that played with Billy, you know, Kevin Talbot and John Fritchie, who played at LSU, we'd hang out at night after the games and things like that. So it's a little different now, and I guess we played against each other from the time we were kids up. You just got to know them and got to hang out with everybody.
Well, Jeff, you're also a fan of LSU. You got that LSU shirt on. I know you like LSU a lot too.
Absolutely.
My dad was an avid LSU fan. He would be proud today, but Joe Burrow, I got to ask you about Joe. That's just a different guy. I mean, he's got a chance to be the, Billy Cannon Sr.'s the only Heisman winner, but
he's got a shot. He's playing awesome. He's great to watch. I mean, to sit there and watch him play has been, for me, very enjoyable. And hats off to Coach O and everybody on that team, because it's a team thing. And just like we're talking about the Cannons, how they bring others up. Joe Burrows and the core of that team is bringing everybody together. I think they got a shot this year. Really
as a fan, what do you think? How you think they can win out and not lose? What do you think as a fan?
I think they can. I think they're going to beat Nick Saban this year.
Whoa. At Alabama.
At Alabama.
I had a dream the other night, 82. Remember they beat the Bear in this final year in 1982. Jerry Stovall was the head coach, and nobody said LSU could beat Walter Lewis, the great quarterback, and all their great players, but LSU held them to 30 yards rushing in 82. Went to the Orange Bowl, lost a couple of games they shouldn't have lost to Tulane, Mississippi State. Dana Moore, who's from Baton Rouge, kicked a field goal, but lost to Nebraska barely in the Orange Bowl. That was a national championship team. Remember that?
I remember that.
But 82 was really like the big gut road win over the Bear Bryant. I mean, that was the first year ESPN broadcast games in 1982 on TV. We're getting old.
We are. We're up there.
Any final thoughts, Jeff? I know that we talked a lot about junior and senior and Broadmoor and Tara, and it's good to have Rusty on.
Yes.
Rusty Price and Bobby. It's
Very
good to have them on.
Enjoyed it. And like I said, just, there was Billy Cannon Sr., and there wasn't a better athlete to come out of Louisiana until Billy Cannon Jr. And I don't think there's been one since that's as good as all-around athlete.
Well, Jeff, thanks for being with us, and I'm glad I ran into you a couple of months ago. You actually grabbed me in a restaurant and said, we need to talk. I said, good, let's do this.
We need to talk because Billy Cannon Jr. needs to be in the LA Hall of Fame.
Louisiana Hall of Fame in Natchitoches, Louisiana. We've had a great show. We're going to replay this show all week long, all year, statewide. Thank the Marriott, a hotel that helps us put our kids up and our parents when they come to town. Check us out at 8:30 to 9:30 every night and replays during the week in the mornings. We'll see you next week.